Rematch day continues in Puerto Vallarta. The final couple of games of the opening session features Louisiana Tech looking for a bounce back victory against a top 15 Florida State team starting to find themselves across the border at Nancy Amaraz Stadium. Happy to have you back here for game number 2, everyone. Corey Brooks, Nicole Mendez with you right here on Flow College. Nicole, you were just calling that first game of the day, Louisiana Tech coming up on the wrong side of it. It felt like the back-to-back Big Sky champions in Northern Colorado were a little bit due, and Emily Morales capitalized on that due-ness. So La Tech looks to bounce back. Florida State still looking to settle in with McKenna Reed and company.
Ladies and gentlemen, check your watches because it is that time. Let's play softball.
I'm always so impressed by that announcer.
He's got a great
better way to start a game.
Huge games. Dave King and the folks at Triple Crown sparing no expense, even the PA department. He's been around the biggest games in sports. Does a great job. In for strike one. So I feel like when you're in Mexico, you know, the call you think of course, with soccer being so big, you know, you think of the goal call that goes about a minute. So he's kind of embraced that mentality as well. The consistent hitting mentality of Alexis Gilio has been a huge part for Louisiana Tech, and sure enough, Gilio puts the second ball in play, and Torres can't quite handle it. The speed of Alexis Gilio creates a little pressure on one of the best shortstops.
We know and we have seen Gilio, just her barrel control. If you can get 3 bounces whenever you're doing that soft slap to shortstop, especially with her speed, you're pretty much guaranteed. But the bigger thing is the Seminoles defense has been their downfall. Getting that cleaned up, that's what you want to see from this Florida State staff.
Right back to the bunt, but it's up a shoot this time. Elena Hang got the final out for Florida State against Oklahoma State. Other than that, we have not seen her. And so the second appearance for McKenna Reed, suffering a back injury late last year, still kind of working through it, getting back to 100%. But when she was fully healthy in 2023, we were talking about an absolutely dominant force. ERA under 1, 0.97, 13-0 on the ACC all-freshman team.
That is quite the lineup right there of accolades.
Right now, though, cautious around Hang.
Corey, as you mentioned, as an athlete who's coming back from injury, sometimes it's hard to fully trust your body, trust your stuff again. And then there's the process of getting back into your rhythm and routine. The key today for McKenna Reed is to be able to overcome that, get right back into the groove of things, and just go out and attack. That's the best way to overcome that, especially coming back from injury.
Came in through 7 pitches, got that out. That's got to feel good. Just kind of see one go in the good column. She gets the fly out. Now looking for a little extended time. Coach Taylor and the Bulldogs hoping to make it a short return to the circle. Chopped up, Torres called upon. This time she's got the right answer.
Nice quick release. So notice the difference between those two. This one, it gets a lot of hops. It even gets that 4th hop. I mean, the extra one, but Torres, the way that she was crashing hard in the quick release, that makes all the difference for her. But La Tech doing what they do best, getting runners on early and moving them over. The top 3 batters here, that is their bread and butter.
Elena Rogers, first pitch swinging, that's Beacham's. Little quick check over at the bag, and no problem for Amaya Ross.
Trying to call that safe call. Quick peek. And yeah, that foot stayed on the base. Nice job by
Always
Ross,
good to be
just
sure.
sticking to it.
High and tight to Addie Snyder. Behind her, it's Reagan Marchant, Claire Rayleigh, Nicole Hamoudi, KB Briley, and Allie Furr, the opening 9 for the Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech. Meanwhile, defensively for Florida State, it's going to sound very similar. Janai Kerr, Kennedy Harp, and Hallie Waycasers, the outfield from left to right, the infield that same direction. Beecham, Torres, Widra, Ross, the battery of Reed and Edenfield. Well, Torres called upon. The game will challenge you. Commit the error, and then she answers with 2 of the next 3 outs and is helped out by her fellow left side teammate Beecham for the other. McKenna Reed, her first full inning of work on the year. It's nearly flawless. One of the dominant pitching forces, not only in Puerto Vallarta this weekend, but in America, all of North America. Allie Floyd has been phenomenal in this tournament. 14 innings pitched, a sterling 2-0, and the shepherd to Louisiana Tech's biggest win in about 40 years over top 5 Oklahoma State. Her first pitch to Isa Torres, ball 1.
We've seen a lot of Allie Floyd, and honestly, Corey, the more I see her, the more I love her. Her stuff is just so good.
And she'll continue to produce. The stretch by Marchant ensures the out of the speedy Torres.
Of course, led by this really consistent idea of I'm going to pound the zone. I know what I do best, and I'm going to make the hitters have to adjust to me versus me adjusting to the hitters. I don't think there's one right way or wrong way to look at it from a pitcher's point of view, but a lot of times those are the 2 views that pitchers have.
Up top to Sunny Beecham, a 300 hitter to this point in the tournament, 3 of 10. But the biggest takeaway, 3 runs brought in on 2 balls that have left the yard. Good practice rep, Claire Rayleigh.
Like you mentioned, a lot of power from Beecham. If you're Allie Floyd, just wanting to lull Beecham on the outer half, get her to roll over, kind of like what we just saw.
Beautiful time for an off speed by Allie Floyd.
That's something that Florida State is going to have to be on their toes with. They know it's coming. It's on the scout, but that doesn't mean that you'll be ready. Such a good pitch.
Across the diamond in time, Rayleigh to Marchant. But that brings up the problem child in round 1 of this Bulldog Seminole battle. It was a Katie Dack grand slam that would serve ultimately as the game winner. It came right here in the first inning, but it is a very different circumstance for Dack here in round 2. Nobody on, 2 out.
Spoke on this in game 1. That was pretty close. We spoke on this in game 1 today, but the ability to let the pass be the pass. Yes, you hit a grand slam. Today, in this moment, what's your game plan? What's your adjustment? I am sure that both of these players, both Allie Floyd and Katie Dack, they both know that the result was a result, but there's going to be a difference. There's going to be a different strategy with how you pitch, how you approach that bat.
Right now, the adjustment from Dack, clearly patience. He just nods along there to get to the ultimate hitter's count. Dack hits it hard again. The deep drive to left. It's another Dack Jack in Puerto Vallarta. She's been unstoppable.
Good distance. Good time.
It is all about who is going to make the adjustment first. And right now, Katie Dack celebrating with her teammates, but you can see her also talking to Michaela Enfield as she's coming up to the plate. This is what I saw. This was the adjustment that I made. This one elevated, waist high, belt high, and just absolutely rocked out there. I have played on this field and at this stadium, and that fence that it just bounced to is far, far away. That is a slow pitch field. That was an absolute blast.
Katie Dack sitting at 7 RBI in this tournament. La Tech fortunate there was nobody on base this time, so a solo shot. But Katie Dack, off 65 at-bats last year, a really efficient on-base player, has clearly developed a power stroke with that senior light on. Speaking of powerful players, here's Michaela Enfield.
Enfield back of the box, giving herself a lot of space, a lot of time to see these pitches from Allie Floyd, challenging her tight on that front side.
Enfield, the drive, straight to the grass. Third hit for Michaela Enfield.
It's good to see that swing from Edenfield. I think we're seeing what the game plan is right now for the Seminoles. It's that low, mid, thigh to belt high, that inside pitch. That's the one that they're wanting to go and attack. We saw it from Katie Dack. We just saw it from Michaela Enfield. No hesitation, and they're baiting Allie Floyd to throw into that by being on the back of the plate and towed up on the line.
Taking advantage so far, and Harp works ahead again. Behind her, it's Hallie Wake, Kaser Amaya Ross, Janai Kerr, and Annabelle Wedra, the opening 9 for Florida State. Hang, Gilio, and Rogers is the outfield for La Tech, like it's been pretty much the entire way. The infield, Rayleigh, Hamoudi, Briley, and Marchant, again, like it's been pretty much the whole way. Floyd throwing to Snyder, the consistent battery.
You can see it with her positioning in the box. She's simulating the same thing. Back of the box, toes up on the line, just baiting Allie Floyd to throw her to that low inside corner of the plate. But also, if you get to this count where it is 1 ball, 2 strikes, you're able to protect on that outer corner because you're so tight on that line.
Harp. She's got 10 at-bats logged already, which is usually the smallest of sample sizes where it's worth it to even look at the rate stats with the batting average, slugging on base, stuff like that. So in those 10 at-bats, she has 7 hits. That means she is hitting 700. I'm bad at math, but I can do that, and that is very good for Kennedy Harp.
Great sequence there from Allie Floyd, just staying low and away on the first 3 pitches and then going that up and in. Could tell that Harp wasn't quite on time with the slower pitches, so just really trying to keep her off balance.
Well done by Allie Floyd. Got 2 quick outs. Katie Dack disrupts the rhythm. Floyd able to bounce back. Get Harp swinging. That's been a tough thing to do. But Katie Dack making her presence felt. She feels like a lock for the all-tournament team. She's got the Noles up 1-0. Back at it here, the Florida State Seminoles very quickly working with a lead. A reminder that your favorite races, games, and events are even better on the big screen. Select your favorite teams, tracks, series, and more to easily access the content you're looking for every time you open our beautifully redesigned TV app. Download the Flow Sports TV app today. Available on all major app stores. Whichever app store you use, whichever screen you're watching, hopefully it's big. Appreciate you hanging out with us here all weekend long in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. The softball has been immensely entertaining. The games have been tremendously close. We did have the 1-run rule last night, but it didn't come until the very late stages of the game anyway. 4 good teams in this session. It's been as advertised.
Leading it off the top of the 2nd inning.
This has been a fun tournament so far. Like you said, Cordy, as advertised, a lot of good softball opening weekend. You always get it here. But I love the competition and the fight from these teams. Just getting to see them come out, play, battle, compete. It has been way too long since college softball has been on air.
It's been a long off season. It always is. A cool time of year right now. Reed rising for the strike.
We talked about foot position. Look at the foot position right there for McKenna Reed. That heel, whenever she sets up to get on the mound, completely in front of the mound. So she's giving herself a whole extra foot. See that right there? And the back foot spread out. She's giving herself every advantage that she could possibly get.
Likes to use it to get that extra downward spin. Set up an easy play for her defense. Certainly did it in the first inning.
That one quick timeout. She sees something, and I love, again, I think I'm just going to be talking about catchers all day long. I talked about it in the first game. I'm on a catcher high right now, and I don't know why, catches everywhere. Like, yes, talk more about him. But being able to see something as a pitcher, call time, chat about it with your catcher, and make a game plan moving forward, because you could have the game plan, but nothing matters as much as in the moment.
Reed goes right back to the rise ball for her first strikeout.
And there it is right there. The ability to make that in-game adjustment, pitch to pitch. She saw that Reagan Merchant, she was willing to chase up in the zone. She's going after that pitch. Hey, I want to throw that pitch again. I want it in this location. Let's go here. I see something there.
Looped into right. Good chase, and it's just out of reach for Waycaser. Claire Rayleigh continues her torrid start, and she gets all the way to third. The third baseman, a three-bagger.
Talk about some speed right there. This one just taken deep into the gap, and you can see by the angle that was taken by Warcaser, she just wasn't ready for that ball to have as much drift, as much take as it did. Went more straight across, took a bad angle, bad jump. That one completely went over her. And then also the sun in this location. If you have a bad jump, it makes it really hard to watch it all the way into the glove too.
Very much a tale of two at-bats there. Marchant goes down with the strikeout, Reed's first of the year. And then Rayleigh rocks her first triple of the season. And now the powerful Nicole Hammoudi a chance. All of a sudden, a sac fly would do the job.
Well, Moody, she is leading her team in batting average, just absolutely stellar for them. She's been able to be right in the middle of all the chaos that's been going on.
Her and Rayleigh tied right now at a clean 500 following that triple that has Claire at third.
She's a tough out, just a lot of battle from her. You can see the discipline in her at-bats.
Held up. Good wrist strength right there from Hammoudi.
That was a great eye by Michaela Edenfield. Just right before that pitch, she kind of tapped her glove, just slowly gestured with her hand down here. Wasn't anything big, just a subtle gesture. Reed locked in on that. That was a fantastic pickup. You could tell how much she wanted to go after that. Hammoudi wanted that pitch.
Somehow convinced her hands to stop before they went through the zone.
I know, and speaking of the battle, she went from 0-2, couple of foul balls, to 2-2. This is a fight. This is a battle. This is a tough battle.
But Reed wins it. 2 strikeouts in the last 3, and she gets the escape hatch.
This right here, really big. Going back to that outer corner, she has stuck there a lot with Hammoudi. She wants to make her chase after that. It's harder for her to stay in those legs. Great placement by Reed. Good setup by Edenfield.
KB Briley bring in Rayleigh after the triple. Sack fly no longer an option. It would require a base hit or a passing of the baton. Instead, it's quickly 0-2.
Quick chatter here, just getting the ball, resetting. And this left
Time to
side
stick home.
specifically. Issa Torres and Jasoni Beecham just so in sync, so locked into what's going on. Checking in with their pitcher. Really like that side.
So do Florida State fans, and they will for years to come. That Reed rise, it's worked because it's gotten her a couple strikeouts, but it's got a lot of movement today.
I know from experience, laying off that high rise, woo, it always looks so good. It looks so good coming in, and then all of a sudden you're starting to swing, and you're like, nope, that's not a strike.
Exactly what the pitcher wants you to think. Reed, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's pretty good, but it just misses.
I love that pitch, just nibbling right in that alleyway between the home plate and the other batter's box. Can she get the team? Can she get the batter to nibble on that, to bite?
Heavy diet of stuff on the top shelf. Payoff pitch to Briley. Is in play. Good jump by Amaya Ross. Closes the frame. Rayleigh threatens with a triple, but McKenna Reed puts up 2 strikeouts and a relatively routine foul out to work around it. The lead remains with Katie Dack and FSU.
It's Florida State 1, Louisiana.
Right back to work goes Allie Floyd, looking to get started extra fast. And hey, when it works, you don't ask why. Gilio makes the grab, and it's a fast start. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Now batting for the Seminoles. First base, number 12, Amaya Ross.
Pitch clock, not an issue. When it involves Allie Floyd, second pitch will go out of play. Probably fortunately so for Allie Floyd. Elena had a good jump on it. Amaya Ross, flashed bunt. That's off the table. Right up a shoot. Hamoudi sees it the whole way and brings it in. Allie Floyd dealing. But getting the first 2 outs was not the issue in the first inning either. It was this part where Katie Dack flipped the script. Let's see if Janai Kerr has a similar curve. Her first pitch swinging. Putting that bunt in the back of the mind, nothing more. Saw a bunt factory, or clinic if you prefer, from Oklahoma State. In the nightcap, Janai Kerr, you heard that off the bat. An absolute no-doubter for her first of the year. And it's deja vu for Allie Floyd and La Tech. 2 extremely quick, a home run. First Katie Dack, now Janai Kerr. To opposite ends of the park, the end result is the same. Goes after. So we saw a bounce back from Allie Floyd in the first inning. Can she do the same thing here? She struck out Harp. What a rocket from Janai Kerr.
Biggest thing for Florida State is they're able to have seen Allie Floyd before. That is the familiarity. They have a game plan. They're being able to implement it. They know that this is the ace for La Tech.
Job to bring that back in a little bit by Addie Snyder. Happy to have you along. For our final couple of games of session number 1, Florida State will be in both of them. Louisiana Tech right now, and then the grudge match. FSU hoping to get some momentum from this one into part 2 against the Cowgirls of Oklahoma State. That's slow roll. There's nobody at first, though. The miscommunication. Marchant dove. Briley had it. And A.B. Widra takes advantage.
And this is where, as a first baseman, knowing your limits, maybe she catches that, maybe it goes past her, but at that point, if you're down on the ground, if that ball is fielded, there's no one there to hold that base for you. So outside a step or two, as a first baseman, you don't want to go outside your range because you're going to need to cover that bag.
But Floyd answers the bell. No problem that time for Marchant. So all it requires is one extra pitch. But for the second straight frame, the story is a 2-out home run. This time, it's Janai Kerr doubling the lead.
It's the Seminoles.
Oh, the long ball certainly being dug by Florida State right now, and McKenna Reed getting the benefit of her team's power success. A reminder that your college sports have a home on Flo College. Watch more than 12,000 college sporting events from 100 schools and 12 different conferences only on Flo College. Head to flocollege.com today to see everything now. What a confidence boost here for McKenna Reed, getting her first start, her first full innings of work outside of 7 pitches a couple of days ago. And her team is behind her to the tune of 2 home runs. The folks who made the trip from Tallahassee, a happy bunch so far.
I mean, it's always good as a pitcher. You always get that confidence boost whenever your team, your defense works for you, whenever your offense scores more runs. But she doesn't need that much of a confidence boost. Reed has been looking very strong these first 2 innings. Last inning picked up 2 Ks.
Allie Furr watching strike 1. Infield ready for a little activation from the lefty.
And La Tech, they're trying to create some momentum. You can hear them in the dugout. They're up, they're loud. That's exactly what they did against Oklahoma State yesterday. Ended up winning that game 6-0. Huge upset. They're also trying to bounce back from that loss earlier today, just a game prior against Northern Colorado. So getting up, staying in the game, that's hard to do whenever you have a doubleheader, but it's what's needed right now.
Both teams familiar with the doubleheader move. Florida State's already been able to bounce back. La Tech's done the same thing. No strangers to the position for either team in this game. And now Furr begins a little battle. She'll get her 6th pitch coming up. By the way, a defensive change to note for you. Christina Hartley is going to take over at the Keystone. She's now at second base, relieving Wedra.
We're back at that potent part in the lineup. La Tech and their lefties. The barrel control, especially against a defense.
Furr's got kind of an unconventional stat line to start. She has 2 runs batted in, but does not have a hit. They both came on walks.
And that tells you what you need to know about this 9-hole. She knows how to turn the lineup over. Her job, get the leadoff up. Get on base, whatever way, she'll take it.
However
get it
works.
Back to the top of the lineup. Exactly, however works. And she's taking this to a 3-2 count. Again, was down the battle that we see from these hitters on La Tech. They are a tough out. They make you work for it as a pitcher.
7 pitches to Briley to end the 2nd. Now the 8th to Furr. Working the walk. Allie Furr hosting a walkathon at Nancy Almaraz Stadium.
And man, sometimes I remember being in the dugout and watching my teammates up, and sometimes, yes, I get fired up for the home runs, but the walk got me just as fired up and created some kind of crazy energy and momentum in a dugout. And sometimes that's all it takes.
Gilio wants to bunt. He's done it so well. Beecham knew it and turns two. J. Sonny Beecham flashes leather, and the Florida State defense has their best play of the season yet.
I mean, this was anticipation. You know this top half of the lineup. You saw the hand square around as hard as you can crashing. And then what a great job over there, because that was a bang, bang play. But what a great job by Widra, just already being at the bag, ready to field that ball.
Job by Christina Hartley. She just came into the game. She's the one who slides over there, makes it happen. Just tremendous communication and anticipation. And one of the biggest takeaways for FSU in this tournament is who is going to be the mainstay at second base post Devin Flaherty. Well, Hartley just made her bid.
That's where we've seen a lot of errors. Thank you, Corey, for that correction. We've seen a lot of errors over at second, and being able to have somebody that you can depend on that is solid is such a key role in that infield. Especially against teams like La Tech that like to cause chaos, that have a lot of slappers, require a lot of movement.
Hang taking her first strike.
This is kind of the theme that we saw last game from La Tech. They would get runners on base. It would feel like, okay, we're creating momentum. And then they'd run into an out or a double play would be made on them. It's just a situational awareness that really caused them a lot of trouble and ran them out of innings.
And foul off the rise. Fresh army of softballs for Steve Gold behind the plate.
A lot of balls flying everywhere, lots of foul balls.
It's the name of the game this time of year. We stored them up in the offseason. Now it's time to start using them. Hang continuing to give balls to the stands. This one winds up in play. Hartley doing a whole lot this inning. She just came into the game. The ball will find you in that spot. And Christina Hartley has everything right. She tosses it over. Winds up 1-2-3. FSU still in control.
It's Florida State 2, Louisiana Tech, nothing.
The views at one of the top tourist destinations here in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Nancy Almaraz Stadium. A good one so far. Florida State and Louisiana Tech battling in our penultimate game. There's the big SAT word today. Second to last. Right now, La Tech's hoping to head back with a win. FSU will stick around and play the grand finale against Oklahoma State.
third inning.
What a day of softball it has been. Day two is typically whenever your body feels that fatigue as an athlete. Day one, there's all the adrenaline shooting through you. You're waiting all day to play.
On a hop, Hamoudi makes the play.
But day two, that's whenever the travel that all these teams have to make, the excitement, finally you get that adrenaline crash. Your bodies, you've been out, you've been grinding out in the sun. There is something real to that day two preseason feeling.
Dak following the home run.
Feeling that now. Game two of their doubleheader. Florida State, they are just starting the first game of their doubleheader as well.
The idea is by mid-season, that won't bother you as much, hence mid-season form. But early on, everybody's still getting that little groove back. You can go through spring practice, you can go through fall ball, but there's nothing quite like opening weekend.
This is a batter that you want to be careful. She's had your number more often than not.
The rise did not bite. Dak resists temptation.
Nice pitch there by Allie Floyd. She thought she had it. I thought she had it. Beautiful pitch there. But again, it's nibbling on those corners, making Dak come to her.
Allie's payoff. Misses low. Dak unretirable on the day. Her second time on base, a home run and a walk.
The girl who can do it all right there. A walk is just as good as a hit, especially whenever your last hit was a home run. You deserve to be a little bit more patient. You have Michaela Edenfield coming up right behind you. That last at-bat that she had. Hard driving that ball to outfield.
Dak took it from 0-2 all the way back for the walk. That's been the story of the game. It's funny, last year, Nicole, I feel like in every game of the tournament, we were talking about two-out hitting, clutch performances, manufacturing the runs, and it hasn't been nearly as much of a theme in this tournament until this game with two-out home runs.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like the theme that we've been seeing so far is battling in the box. A lot of extra pitches. We had that 50-pitch inning. There's been a lot of extra pitches just from hitters who have extended their at-bats by 2 or 3 pitches. Those add up together. Love that quick conference.
Why Allie Floyd is where she's at, too. She's currently at 16 1/3 innings pitched. And again, she's been fine except for 2 pitches that have left the yard. Still slinging it.
Good pitch. Allie Floyd knows that the one pitch for Edenfield that she loves to go after is that lower pitch. The way that Edenfield there's not a lot of hitters in college softball that are able to consistently do this the way that she does. She's able to stay in her legs, get underneath that ball. She likes that lower pitch.
Instead, she chases up top and obliges Allie Floyd.
Just using that against her, tempting her with that low one, and then knowing that she's not expecting that high pitch. She's going to go up in the zone. That right there. That is what Allie Floyd, that's what makes her so good. That's what we saw yesterday. That's what we're seeing today.
Don't often see Edenfield in that position. Testament to what Allie Floyd's been able to do so far. Floyd looking to slam the door with 2 outs. The first time in the game.
Same thing with Harp here. That outer half, that lower bottom end of the zone, that's been a difficult one for her to be able to land on with Floyd.
Harp hits it well, and it's down just in front of Elena Hang and all the way to the fence. Kennedy Harp will manage to create more offense for the Noles, all of it with 2 outs. That comes across.
That's just taking advantage. That pitch before on the corner, that one over the middle, and she's able to get a hold of that. But the biggest thing, Hang, letting that ball get past her, great effort. But in a situation like that, you know there's no one behind you. If you are going to be diving straight on, not coming at an angle, not diving at an angle, but straight on, you have to be 100% sure that you are able to catch that ball. Otherwise, a run scores and you have a runner on third.
Waycaser watching strike 1. It's the 3rd time that Kennedy Harp has found herself swinging the bat and then standing at third base. She had the triple, the ball lost in the sun. She had the double and the empty error. In as many days, right here in the second to last game for FSU. A lot of players will go an entire career without a triple. Kennedy Harp has 2 in 2 days.
I mean, that's the ultimate flex, right? As an athlete, anybody can hit a double. But can you stretch that out into a triple?
Waycaser snagged by Rayleigh. Man, every third baseman in this tournament has been so locked in. It has been the scorching corner, but they've had the answers every time. Rayleigh having a nice day. She brings it in, but it's another 2-out run scored for FSU. They're doing it one at a time. FSU starting to feel some extra energy They would sure love to win this, bring all the confidence in the world into their top 15 battle with Oklahoma State. 1 run a frame will ultimately usually serve you pretty well. That's what Florida State's doing right now. They've got a 3-0 lead with 3 in the books, but we begin the top of the 4th with the heart of Louisiana Tech coming up. Hole hitter Elena Rogers watches ball 1.
Right fielder number 1, Alana Rogers.
Louisiana Tech, the biggest adjustment for them, you're in the 4th inning, you're at that halfway point. I think of these as working innings. Innings 3, 4, and 5. Those are the ones where you are just grinding away. You are trying to make something happen. It's tough. The momentum has lulled a little bit from the adrenaline burst of, okay, game's just starting, and you're not quite at that point where inning 6, inning 7, you're like, all right, the game is coming. We better get it in order. But these are those innings where it's hard to stay locked in. It's hard to stay focused. It's hard to be consciously making those adjustments pitch to pitch. For La Tech, the adjustment here is, where am I chasing in the zone? Where do I want to be chasing in the zone?
Light breeze at Nancy Almaraz Stadium. And a necessary strike there from McKenna Reed. Her pitch count's about 50. Again, off that injury from last year. Florida State's gonna manage her innings early on, but so far so good.
Of how Reed has really established the upper half of the zone. That rise ball has looked so deceptive to these La Tech hitters. Feel, especially for the lefties, everything is rising, yes, but drifting away from them as well.
Third base has been locked down. That's Beecham's.
This one just straight to her pure reaction. She has been so solid over there at that corner.
Addison Snyder.
One of the best freshman seasons in the history of FSU softball, and that is a storied history. Can't wait to see what she does this year. Addie Snyder. That's sort of what you're looking for, right? It's that one up top. You give it a nice ride, but she pulled it a little too hard and goes foul.
Yeah, that's the one that you want to chase after, but as soon as you see that one, you have to be disciplined, narrow down your plane. So it looks like Florida State getting some bullpens in.
That was Julia Apsell. So there's your early indication of who's next. Reed right now is in the middle of the second time through. Gonna guess the goal is something close to the completion of that second run. And then you make the move. But the pitch count will be incredibly important, more so for Reed than most.
We talked about this yesterday. Florida State, they were one of the first teams in college softball to really pioneer having a full staff, having almost like a baseball-like rotation where you are able to bring in any one of these pitchers at any point in the game. not necessarily having an ace for Friday, an ace for Saturday, an ace for Sunday, but a true mix and match, a true complement, a true staff. And it's worked very well for them in years past. For what we've seen so far, once they find that groove, once they find those matchups, it's going to be really good rhythm.
Beecham nailed it again. That's something Josh Taylor said he wants to straight up emulate. So yeah, I talk to Coach Alameda all the time, get her thoughts on pitching, and there's a reason it works for Florida State. They'd love to do it in Ruston as well. Couple it down. Megan Marchant's up next.
And I think to that point is the thought of being able to be curious and be learning. You see a lot of experimentation from coaches and teams in this preseason. They're open to see what works for their team, for this year's team specifically. We saw that a little bit with Florida State. We're seeing that with La Tech, just experimenting with the lineup, trying different strategies.
I think for La Tech, a lot of it, you never want to put too much on a young player, but will be how does Riley Shull develop? It's always a process when you've got a freshman pitcher who has the expectations that she does, but phenomenal background, elite skill set. She can really break out alongside Allie Floyd.
Completely agree. You get that 1-2 punch with Allie Floyd and Shaw, especially with Shaw's background with Lauren Hanker, former coach, travel ball coach, pitching coach, mentor. That brings a lot to the table. It's just getting settled. That also relieves Allie Floyd of all that pressure as well.
Well hit to left. But this time, Nancy Amara Stadium is big enough, and Janai Kerr brings it in on the good Marchant swing. 1, 2, 3. McKenna Reed is locked in. She's retired 8 in a row with the help of a double play. FSU up by a trio.
We move to the bottom of the fourth inning. It's the Seminoles 3, the Bulldogs 7.
Back live at Nancy Amara Stadium, Florida State continuing to steadily build momentum. A reminder, your favorite races, games, and events are even better on the big screen. Select your favorite teams, tracks, series, and more. Easily access the content you're looking for every time you open our beautifully redesigned TV app. Download the Flow Sports TV app today, available on all major app stores. Pitch and change in the circle for Louisiana Tech. It is the freshman, Lainey Johnson, and she will be putting Amaya Ross on first base.
This one just gets away from her, slips out of the hand. Easy pass for Florida State, and the thing is, as a freshman, I like this move from La Tech. As great as Allie Floyd is, she has pitched a lot of innings. There's still a lot of preseason left as well. And you want to give your athletes this experience. It's not surrendering, oh, game's over. This is, I think she's good enough. Let's give her this experience. Let's see what she can do. Let's test it out.
It's about as tough a welcome to this level as you'll get against the top 15 Florida State team, coming off one of their best offensive years ever. And it's a good job by Snyder to go talk to the youngster.
In this conversation here, there's the feeling of I have to prove myself. And whether you're a freshman on the mound getting your first start against top 15 team, or you're a veteran, you're a senior, you've proven yourself time and time again, there's always that thought as a competitor of I want to be the best. And that's really where that thought stems from. But being able to understand that want is only going to be accomplished by actions, and not trying to get too deep into the thought process, but more so, let me just do what I do that got me here. My talents, my pitches, my plays. Just be athletic. Go out and play.
Even as a freshman, she'll come out with great confidence. 3 straight 4A state championships in the state of Louisiana. Beating great players like Elena Hang, her now teammate and roommate. She's had some great outings in the early spring practices, and that gets Lainey Johnson into this game. Pop throw down to second. Wave safe.
A little bit of speed, a little bit of celebration there on the base path. That is one thing I wasn't sure we were going to see too much of this year, especially because of the replay, but a lot of stolen bases so far these 2 days. Obviously, there's enough speed for it. There's enough talent for it, but being able to find that timing, I'm curious if that will continue with these teams whenever they have the chance to get the replay.
Was a tremendous bit of practice for Amaya Ross. That was ball 4. Hartley, her debut in the batter's box even. The offseason conversations around who's going to replace Flaherty at the Keystone. It was Christina Hartley who had the early edge. We've seen a true rotation there. Her, the two-way Weidra. Annie Potter's got some in there as well. A lot of options on a very, very deep team. That's the word that Coach Alameda consistently used to describe this roster, deep. A lot of options at pretty much every spot. A tremendous luxury for FSU.
That's a best problem to have. And again, it goes back to this time in season, you're experimenting. Who works best? Who makes sense here? Who has proven it? What does this do? These are all questions you ask, but also if you have that many talented athletes, it just pushes you that one little.
That'll happen to a freshman. 2 in prime position for FSU.
Corey, sometimes you just need to get that one out.
Yep.
First pitch, my freshman year, I got to throw at the World Series, my very first warm-up pitch, over the catcher's head into the backstop.
Woo! Yep. No doubt. 3-run shot. Christina Hartley goes yard. Her first.
We have seen some tanks here today from Florida State, an absolute nuke. Hartley, as you said, she is putting up a tough run for this starting position, not only defensively, but offensively. When we have that kind of power down at the 9 spot, that is a hard get.
Number 3, Isa Torres.
And she sets the lineup right back on top. Isa Torres comes up, still nobody out in the frame. FSU pulling away here in the 4th. Some clutch hitting to end the day of Allie Floyd a little earlier at an even 17 innings pitched over 3 days. And now Florida State asserting themselves against the freshmen. You don't win all those state titles by accident.
No, absolutely not. Torres is one of the most talented athletes that I have seen. Just so smart with her softball IQ. She really knows the game, understands it. And you see that on her play, yes, in this at-bat, having the patience, knowing after that absolute blast, this pitcher does not want to make the same mistake again. She's going to nibble around the corners. Just getting the opportunity to learn. That is her favorite thing to do.
And so Lainey Johnson will step aside. The trial by fire, and there's a lot of learning to be done when you're going against this FSU offense. But Florida State does what Florida State does, and it's a pitching change for Louisiana Tech. We're going to see her fellow freshman, Riley Shull, on the other side.
Now pitching, 32, Riley Shull.
Now Riley Shull be making her second appearance today and her second appearance against Florida State. Through 4 innings against Northern Colorado earlier, comes back out now through 3 innings of one-hit softball against FSU in round 1, and she starts Jay Beecham with a strike.
Thing I love about Shull is her ability to have 3 different looks. She's able to drop that drop ball, just the tunnel, the way it just falls off the plate. Now, I'm sure right now that's what this conversation is about. This is a different look from what you've seen from the past 2 pitchers, Allie Floyd especially, who Florida State has prepped the most for. So just resetting and getting your swing plane right, getting your attack zone right, all that has to be done in an instant. So just a little reminder to Beecham, but Allie Floyd, the way her ball drops off and she's able to pair that with an off speed.
Beecham finding Rogers. Huge bounce back for Riley Shull to get the first out.
This one that left elevated. Beecham takes it hard, but the positioning and the setup of the outfield, that is key right there. Rogers out there and right, just being able to be at the right place, right time.
Maddie Dack going to try and keep the good going. A home run and a walk to this point. She has come around to score both times.
And I like this lineup for LT.
He's going to stand at second. Back the laser again to Rayleigh. Just incredible play all day long at the hot corner for both third basemen.
This one, an absolute shot. Third base has been the hot corner so far this game. I mean, it's called that for a reason, but a lot of hard hits over there. Both of the third basemen just being ready.
Knowles turn to Edenfield, who chops it up. Rayleigh's ready again, and she comes across the diamond. Riley Shull comes in, slams the door. A flawless relief appearance, but FSU does score 3 on the one hit. The 3-run shot by Christina Hartley has FSU firmly in control now. Riley Shull did the job. After the challenging start for Johnson, comes in, helps her fellow freshman out. And now Louisiana Tech is going to try and solve McKenna Reed, which is far easier said than done at this point in the game.
Defensive change for Florida State.
Absolutely, Corey. Just being able to get to this point as effectively, I'm looking back on this stat line, and just as effectively as she has been, this is the start that you want to have. This is the game that you want to have coming back from injury and just going for it. I spoke on it earlier about that first time back out, and yes, she got 7 pitches, but this is the first real start. And Reed, she's just been pounding the zone over and over and over again.
Now batting, third base.
She has allowed 1 hit. Now, it was a loud one, and it came to this hitter right here in Claire Rayleigh, the triple back in the second. But that's it. A walk, which was immediately erased by a double play. By the way, with Edenfield being the last to hit there, Maddie Fry came in defensively. So she'll catch until Edenfield comes up once again.
We talked about that, and it looks like Florida State, they are not just pitching by committee, but we're seeing a lot of rotation over at second base, but A lot of rotation. We talked about this before the game, but Edenfield saving her legs, knowing that preseason, it is a grind. It is a rough time.
Lutberg gets through. Claire Rayleigh has been the exception today, and she takes an extra base, the briefest of bobbles. Enough to give an extra 60 to Rayleigh.
I love that she's looking out for that, and she's curious, where is my next step? Can I go ahead and stretch that single into a double? Because it's not like this one rolled past her. It was just a brief little bobble, and as soon as she saw that, took off her second. Great setup as you have one of your best hitters stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, Reed got her the first time, a strikeout victim. But otherwise, Nicole's been extremely effective. Hamoudi, to be clear, not Mendez, though Mendez was a great hitter.
Put me in a jersey. I'll go relive my college days.
Hey, I tell you what, these careers are getting extended. What seems like daily right now. You know, your JUCO year doesn't count. 2020 is a bonus year. You never know.
I might have some eligibility left.
I think the coach of USA Softball would be ecstatic if you could find an extra year.
Pull a Peyton Manning and put on a wig, disguise myself.
Yep, right.
Practice one day.
Nicole Mendez is here, and all of a sudden, the utility player for Oklahoma. Moody right up a shoot. A charging Kennedy Harp will see it just out of range. Exactly where it needed to be to flare for Hamoudi.
A big smile from her over at first base. That's all you want. Harp playing deep, close to the fence on this. You can see how hard she's crashing. It's not quite there, but great backup over there by Torres, being able to get that ball quickly, saved her team a run.
So Rayleigh gets back to third. That's as far as she or any La Tech runner have gotten. Paris Indris is going to get an opening opportunity here for La Tech. She watches strike one, another one of the airline high school players for this Louisiana Tech group. Huge part of the lineage of the trio last year, add Hang now. And it's to have some really good opportunities at the plate towards the end of last year, starting the final 11 games. So a little in-between season momentum for Indris. However, Beecham has one. Hartley turns, but it gets away at the very last from Amaya Ross. So the fielder's choice. Productive play for Florida State, but also productive for Louisiana Tech. Haley doing the job.
That right there, that is what La Tech has been waiting for, the ability to get a run across the board. And like you said, Florida State, their defense has been shaky, so being able to get the lead runner, trying to go for two. Just a few kinks to work out. And Corey, I think you're right. Being able to go 2 times through the lineup, once that lineup is rolled over, go ahead and see another arm.
It'll be one early with Furr still hitting in the 9 spot. But the core concept is there for Lonnie Alameda. And sure enough, she will make the pitching change. We saw Apsell throwing earlier, but it is Ashton Danley who will come back out for the Seminoles. Familiar name for those who have watched FSU and Louisiana Tech. Danley warming up across the border. So Ashton Danley, a return appearance for Florida State. He's had the opportunity to go a couple times already in this tournament, including against Louisiana Tech, an inning and a third. But that was when La Tech, with a little help, got going offensively. So now they'd love to do the same thing here against Danley. We also saw her against Oklahoma State. So appearance number 3 for the sophomore, Ashton Danley.
Just getting those reps in, getting that familiarity. That's going to be the name of the game here for Florida State. And only in day 2, they already have 3 appearances. Like, there's a lot of movement that we've seen with these arms. Again, it's about experimenting, learning what's new, what works.
Danley, that's the new screwball, that improved off speed. She's gotten a bit unlucky so far. Of the 6 runs she's allowed, only 2 of them have been earned.
Offensively, Florida State really doing their job, but this game, it's a pretty good feeling going in with a 6-1 lead. As a pitcher, just gives you that extra bit of confidence, a little bit of boost.
La Tech created some excitement in the final stages of that first game against FSU. The nose hoping Danley prevents any of that. This time, high hop. Hartley takes the turn, takes a chance, and it pays off. Torres won the race.
I love this from Hartley. Just watch how quickly, as her body jumps up to absorb, she starts to rotate in the air. She knows she wants to get that lead out. That is softball IQ. And Torres being there, being ready for that ball. I loved that from those middles.
Infield defense, sterling for Florida State so far in this game. Hartley's made a few really nice plays, and Jay Beecham can put together her personal highlight reel on this game alone. Gilio chops it up again. Tough play with what she's got. Yeah, no chance.
That was textbook. You really cannot get any better than that, and that's why she's in that leadoff spot. The barrel control, to have to make the pitcher come all the way to the line, knowing that she's a lefty. She's going to have to rotate her body around. You try to replicate that so many times in practice. To see it in a game, that is just beautiful.
Hang Hackett.
Excuse me. Excuse me while I geek out on slapping over here.
Oh, no, listen. You're more than allowed to. We were giving catchers love earlier. The utility player for Oklahoma, allowed to love any position and any form of hitting. High chop. Just by a step. Great effort out of the box by Elena Hang.
This goes back to the speed at the top of this La Tech lineup. Beautifully placed. Nice strike. Almost got it there by Hartley, but speed never slumps. You put that ball on the ground, you always have a chance.
Hartley could not have done that any better. And all of a sudden, Rogers has a huge chance.
Best position that La Tech has been in yet. Their first run this inning, looking to push a few more.
Can they get some of that 2-out magic FSU had early? They cannot. Christina Hartley keeps the routine just that. Louisiana Tech leaves them loaded. They do score one. That's one they want back. Vallarta, Mexico. The softball has been phenomenal. This game, no exception. A tremendous clutch showing from Ashton Danley to strand the bases full. Dogs have left 5 on to this point, and now they'll just try and keep this thing afloat against 5, 6, 7, starting with Kennedy Harp.
Kennedy Harp.
Shaw begins her first full inning of work in this game.
Shaw did a great job coming in as relief, getting quick outs. Face the minimum. But she started last game as well, so this isn't the first time she's been throwing today. The biggest thing for her is finding that rhythm. As a drop ball pitcher, finding out where your umpire strike zone ends is crucial. It's key. You want to find that as soon as possible. Right now, she's just searching a little bit.
You also want to be careful with Harp, too. That's definitely part of this equation. 8 hits and 12 at-bats, including 7 RBI and 2 triples. And extremely careful, a leadoff walk.
I'll be honest, I don't know which one is more dangerous, Harp in the box or Harp on the base path.
Yeah.
Right fielder number 1.
A lot of speed here for Florida State.
That's up and down the lineup. This group does not have your traditional big slugger who can't really move. That's nowhere in this group.
I think one of the best base runners that they have is Michaela Enfield.
Right, exactly. Waycaser goes the long way and sends it over the fence. Hallie Waycaser, her first home run. Florida State, a power surge.
Well, how's that for a response? La Tech, they scored a run last inning, had bases loaded. Florida State says, no problem. Here's my response. I see that one run and I raise you too. I love that. Getting the leadoff runner on base, taking advantage of free bases, and expanding on that, making teams pay for those mistakes. That is what the elite teams do. Loving that response.
In 4 of the 5 innings we've played, Florida State has a home run. And in the 1 inning they did not go yard, Kennedy Harp had a triple. The extra base display for FSU to begin their final day in Puerto Vallarta. Maya Ross on base. She represents the game-winning run, and she gets to second.
And that is what you want to see, is passing the bat, especially whenever you're this close. There's been a few instances throughout the past 2 days where teams that run rule is right within grasp, but a lot of the teams, they haven't finished, they haven't closed out. If you're Florida State, your goal right now is, can we finish this game? Can we dust it off? Can we leave this game with so many things that we did right? Can we tie a bow onto it? Can we make it complete? And I think that's what we've seen so far from Florida State, is you're starting to see them get more settled. You're starting to see their bats come alive and their routines really, really paying off that they had all along. Going back, trusting that.
Addie DeLong is going to come in. If she steps on the plate, it's ball game. Janai Kerr, the one will try and bring her in. You do not want to give Louisiana Tech any chance at the late game. They have thrived there in this tournament. And Janai Kerr knows exactly that.
Her with a home run and herself this game.
Running at second base, number 2.
Home run and a
She's
walk.
willing to be patient. Yeah, willing to be patient too. She can do it all. She can do it all.
Preseason all-conference. And working ahead. Each of these next two hitters, Kerr and Hartley, both have already gone yard today.
If you're Shoal, you don't want to give too much on the plate, but also whenever you nibble early on in that count, you put yourself in a deficit where you have to give more of the plate. That's exactly what she's looking for.
Pop throw down, there's nobody at second. Shoal working through the command and control right now. Like you said, you have these innings as a freshman, you try and get him out of the way. But it's 8-2, balls to strikes right now. On the hop, Riley cleaned up.
Even that, a productive out. Can't tell you how many times I've seen the ball hit to the left side versus the right side whenever you have a runner at second base. Being able to advance 60 feet, that winning run now only 60 feet away.
Mission accomplished for Kerr. Can Hartley finish what has been a phenomenal day with the clincher? Did not start the game at second base, but has the real opportunity to finish it. 3-run home run, a single, and some really nice defensive work at the Keystone. With the speed that DeLong has and the bigger infield, any ball to the grass, game.
Shoal attacking early this at bat. It's hold by Hartley.
Big block by Snyder. Otherwise, this thing might have been decided on a ball in the dirt.
We've seen Snyder come through time and time again, so many times, with runners on base, without runners on base. Best thing about her, she is consistent. Obviously has a great relationship with her pitchers.
Need it again. Dad in the Cubs organization. Grandpa played football for the Denver Broncos. Had a great summer down in Florida. In the FGCL, a few players did for Louisiana Tech, gaining that confidence a little closer to where Florida State plays, though the Gulf Coast of Florida, the southwest corner specifically, and Tallahassee are very far apart. Hartley's payoff. Right up a shoot. That's going to do the job. And a little extra as well. It carries Gilio the entire way. DeLong steps on the plate. And Florida State will go into their matchup against Oklahoma State in a top 15 rematch off a win. Christina Hartley puts together a 4 RBI day. Her new career high, and this one's a walk-off.
2 hits, 1 error, nobody left on.
And I think it's safe to say that Florida State, their bats have been warmed up. You can start to see them firing on all cylinders, but I agree. Hartley is the athlete to watch. I loved how consistent she was at the plate. I absolutely loved what she was doing over at second base. The consistency there, I feel, is what this defense was wanting. It helps a lot as a pitcher to know that you have a complete infield.
So Florida State gets a little extra rest and a whole lot of